Hello everybody, back at it again with another video for our transitioning guide. Today I'll be going over adjusting to college. Start off, I got some new equipment. So as you can see over here, I have a new microphone. Hopefully my sound is coming in a little bit better now. Also lighting wise, I got one of those cool halo lights. It actually has a mount in it, so it's holding up the camera while it's showing the light. So hopefully this video looks a little bit more crisp than my last couple. But to get into the experience, I want to talk a little bit about my experience first. Things I started doing sophomore year that I wish I would have done freshman year that helped me adjust. And then just about kind of the value of going home when you need to go home. So first, my freshman experience was a little crazy. I did work studies, so luckily I found a job that allowed me to get some sports experience. I literally swept the floors of volleyball games at the Convocation Center at Ohio University. So that was my work studies. I didn't have any organizational involvement, so I joined no student orgs. I struggled with classes, so it was a little weird coming from like easily getting my grades, not having to try, to being in college where you really have to grind and focus and kind of take your energy and put it into a class. And then also good friends. So I had good friends from the beginning. Shout outs to John, Jacob, Alex, and then all the amazing friends I made after freshman year, Los and them, into my organization, Alpha Psi Lambda. But starting off, those two guys were my foundation as far as having people to go to when you're far away from family, especially when you're first gen. It's a little weird because you don't feel like you have any foundation or anybody you could really go to if you really needed somebody. But those were my experiences. I found like it was very stressful. It was hard to adjust and get comfortable because I really wasn't involved in anything, so I didn't really have anything to distract me from my time. And since school was harder, all I was focused on was school. I actually sat down with like a mentor or guide in the library, and she was like, "I think you study too much." She's like, "I want you to spend some of that time you do studying just getting out and being active and getting involved." And that really helped me actually improve my grades because I wasn't stressing. When it gets to college, it's not really about the actual grade. I would say it's more about the work that you put in. So you want to just make sure that you're doing all the small things because at the end of college, like you're trying to get a job or go to graduate school, so then your grades really matter. But at the end of the day, you want to make sure you're doing all the right things to put yourself in a position to get whatever's next after college. So sophomore year, thankfully, I got involved with the Shea Sales Center, which gave me an opportunity to learn a little bit more about sales, definitely get a lot of professional development, and work on my sales skills. That student org was extremely helpful as far as just giving me something that I felt like I belonged to and giving me some very practical skills that I could use once I got out of college. So shout out to Nicole again for stopping me in front of Baker and convincing me to sign up. Also, like-minded individuals. So this is a big thing. Especially when you're coming into college and you're working to improve yourself as far as being a first gen as well, trying to achieve something that you don't see on a day-to-day basis where you're from. You want to surround yourself with like-minded individuals, not only people who are striving for success, but people who also came from similar backgrounds as you, because those are the only people that will really be able to understand the struggle that you went through and some of the other struggles that you go through while being on campus. Try new things. That's a big thing. I picked up on it as I got into my junior and senior year, but trying new things or things that you always wanted to do. I did modeling, which was a little fun and weird. It was definitely out of my comfort zone. I'm not the most fashionable person, but I always thought I was pretty photogenic, so I definitely wanted to give it a try, and they were amazing. The people in that organization were super amazing, so I really enjoyed it. Class evaluation is something that helped me a lot in organizing my classes. So literally the way I did it is after kind of the first 2 weeks after syllabus week and all that, I would take notes and kind of figure out which class needed this amount of the pie. You only got 100% of the pie, so how are you going to divvy it up? I knew the shade was going to take up about 35 to 40% of that pie. Classes were going to take up another like 45, so then you had some for like free time and stuff like that. But when you're looking at those classes, you really want to think of it as which classes are the classes that if I just take the notes, then I'll do fine. Classes that you need to practice, so normally like your math, your chemistry, those where you actually have to practice the formulas and different things of that nature to get consistent and kind of learn the material. And then also off the slide classes where literally if you just take the PowerPoint slides, you'll be good for the exam. Obviously thinking about that, how you'll allocate your time. The practice ones, that's something that you need to do every day. In my QBA class, which is business analytics, I literally did problems every day. So about an hour a day I would sit down and I would work on some type of business analytics just to make sure that I understood it. So I knew the class was going to be harder, so I knew I needed to give it more time. Other classes, animal diversity. I love animals. I used to want to own a zoo. I used to watch what is it? Animal Planet all the time, and I literally, like, that class was easy for me. Like, I just had to look at the slides, and the next thing you know, the exam was easy. So you got to figure out which one of those categories your classes fall in, and I would say that would be the best way to proceed. Next thing I'm going to talk about is going home. So I'm from Lima, and I went to school in Athens, so that's like 3.5 hours, but nobody else in my family highway drives, which is a very special situation. Going home was big for me, especially because of my connection with my grandma and the rest of my family. It really helps to be around the people who kind of know you before all of the other stuff picks up, whether it's like new people you meet or all the other stuff you do. They really just help you feel grounded, and it gives you a very wholesome feeling. So I really enjoy visiting home. I know at first when I went to college, I was like, I'm a man, like I can do this on my own. I don't need to go home. I don't need anybody to hold my hand. But at the end of the day, your family is the most important thing in your life. So I would say definitely, if you feel like you need to go home and you feel like you just need some mom's home cooking and a hug, go home. It's just one weekend. They have go bus systems and a bunch of different things that'll help you out. So I would recommend that. Plus, it kind of helps keeping people updated on what you're doing, different things like that, because you never know how that's motivating somebody else. I found a lot of motivation from people who used to come back home from school, and I look to do the same. But in totality, in the summary of this whole video, that's just kind of been me stammering. Everything here in Milwaukee's been great. Things are picking up at work, so I've been super busy. But wanted to make sure that I got this video out with it being February. Shout out to Black History Month and my birthday month. But literally when it comes to transitioning in college, you want to find like-minded individuals. You want to figure out what bucket your classes fall into, whether it's a practice, notes, or off the slides, just so you can have some type of structure to how you're going to attack the workload that they'll give you. And then you also want to go home when you need to go home. Because as we get older, you realize that the world's a little bit more complicated, and sometimes it feels good to be around family and just have that feeling when you were a kid. So I would definitely recommend going home. At the end of this, I'm still working on the guide, but would love to work on topics that you guys think I should work on. I'm enjoying this new equipment a lot because it looks pretty cool, so give me a reason to keep on using it. Other than that, drop something in the comments. I'm happy to talk about any topic you guys want to give me, and thank you so much.